There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at East London Grand Prix Circuit, as we're getting ready to get things underway. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on JP Brandt starting in second position. And in third place, we have Richard Reshka.
It's like they're on the outside looking in, close enough to see the front without actually being there.
Bradley Taylor lines up in fourth place as the engines rev and the race begins. Securing the fifth place is Blake Hurley.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Blake Hurley can do from here.
From the middle of the pack, we have John Visser in sixth place on the starting grid. Henko van den Berg has qualified seventh.
An opportunity for some good points today, but the others aren't going to make it easy.
Ernest Heather is eighth. As the engines roar to life, Joni Geldenhuys prepares. The moment we've been waiting for has arrived. The green flag is waving and the race is on.
Maintaining a safe distance while still pushing for position is a delicate balance. Experience and composure will be vital in these opening moments.
Every lap is an opportunity for Joni Geldenhuys to learn just a little bit more to shave a few tenths or hundredths off their times. I think passing is going to be difficult today here at East London Grand Prix Circuit, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
It all comes down to this, Lucy, where the rubber meets the road. There's no more time for talk, no more practice. The teams have done all they can, now it comes down to Joni Geldenhuys to bring it home.
The drivers are jockeying for position. Justin Sletcher will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position. As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. Some great driving from Jamie Nichols, who has increased their lead over Enzo van den Hever and is starting to put some distance between them.
Agreed, Lucy, superb driving there. If they keep this up, this race should be a real thrill ride.
John, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Lucy. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
3 cars in perfect formation, creating a moving train on braking development. Looks like that's a mistake from Robert Engelbrecht. This could be costly. It's a battle of wills out there, with Dan Van trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Gendre Bucas. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish.
That's right, Dan Van in 26th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Gendre Bucas is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
The race is heating up as Peter Geldenhuys in 27th closes in on Dan Van. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. The battle for 2 is heating up as Bradley Taylor tries to catch JP Brandt in P2. The gap between Blake Hurley and Henko van den Berg is razor thin as they vie for fourth in this nail-biting contest. No room for error here. John Visser is breathing down the neck of De Van Heyman, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that John Visser must be laser-focused on De Van Heyman's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
It's a game of inches now as Caden Scott tails Warren Dodd closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
Caden Scott is following Warren Dodd so closely, they could start charging them rent for occupying the same space on the track.
In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown. Breaking update. I don't think that's the fastest way around East London Grand Prix circuit. Dan Van is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
Braking update. I don't think that's the fastest way around East London Grand Prix circuit. Look at that. They're trading places in every turn, a constant game of cat and mouse. Each driver knows one mistake could cost them dearly.
Spot on, Lucy. This constant back and forth battle is keeping everyone on the edge of their seats.
Hold up, breaking info. That won't be ideal for Tyler Scott. Henko van den Berg wants to find a way round Blake Hurley.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Heartbreak for Ernest Heather, as they slip down the field. Justin Sletcher is giving it their all as they chase down De Van Heyman in P13.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Justin Sletcher needs to be careful not to overdo it.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Jamie Nichols is closing in on Justin Sletcher.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Jamie Nichols needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Oh, this is getting intense. Francois van den Hever is just behind Willy van Wyck. A brilliant maneuver from Francois van den Hever, who has just moved up the field. The pressure is on, but these drivers are showing tremendous respect for each other while going all out. It's a masterclass in clean, hard racing.
No doubt about it, Lucy. The battle for that same piece of tarmac is intense. The sparks flying and the close quarters racing showcase the incredible skill and nerve of these drivers.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while. Hold up, breaking info. That won't be ideal for Tyler Scott. The action is heating up here as Dan Van is in 26th, defending from Kenneth Ella, who is only 0.4 seconds away.
Kenneth Ella is certainly pushing all they can, but the gap might just be too much. Unless Dan Van makes a mistake, it looks like they'll hold on to 26th.
The pursuit is on. Kenneth Ella is closing the gap on Dan Van, determined to claim P26.
You can see that car bouncing around as they ride the curves. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
The adrenaline is pumping as Henko van den Berg gets within striking distance of Richard Reschke in their race for fifth. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would help to cement this driver's legendary status. Look at that, Jacobus Basson is hot on the tail of Justin Sletcher.
The racing is getting tight between Jacobus Basson and Justin Sletcher as they battle for P15. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
The race is really heating up. Philip Van Staden is hunting down Peter Geldenhuys with everything they've got. Henko van den Berg is holding 6th, but Ernest Heather is right on their tail. The pressure is on for Ernest Heather as they try to catch up to Henko van den Berg.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
Looks like Wayne Midden is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Warren Dodd is defending for their life, but Joni Geldenhuys is right there doing everything they can to force a mistake. Every move counts now as Jamie Nichols works to reel in Justin Sletcher and overtake for P14.
The mental game is just as important here. Jamie Nichols must keep their cool while putting pressure on Justin Sletcher.
The action is non-stop as Justin Sletcher. Hold up, breaking info. That won't be ideal for Tyler Scott. Things are heating up as Warren Dodd tries to close the gap to Wayne Midden. Disappointing for Joni Geldenhuys, they now find themselves in 14th. During your racing career, John, how did you determine when it... Hold on a second, what a move. Joni Geldenhuys has moved up to 13th.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Wow, Willie Van Wyck is really pushing hard to catch up to Philip Van Staden. There's blood in the water for 21st place.
This is what separates the good from the great. The ability to stay focused and perform under pressure.
Warren Dodd is looking for an opportunity to get round Wayne Midden. Seems like Philip Van Staden is getting in range of Willie Van Wyck. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Warren Dodd gaining places and Wayne Midden losing them. De Van Heyman is placed 12th at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Joni Geldenhuys, who is 0.3 seconds behind. Willie Van Wyck is running 21st. They are trying to catch Philip Van Staden.
Willie Van Wyck needs to focus if they want to make a move and pass Philip Van Staden.
Great driving from Willie Van Wyck, who has just gained a place and moved up to 20th. It looks like Philip Van Staden is pushing hard to catch up to Willie Van Wyck. That's not a small gap, but Philip Van Staden has what it takes to challenge for the position. The battle for 10 is heating up as Wayne Midden tries to catch Warren Dodd in P10. An impressive showing from Wayne Midden, who has gained positions and left Warren Dodd in the dust.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Wayne Mitten needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
Warren Dodd has the pedal to the metal chasing Wayne Midden. Jamie Nichols is on a mission, chasing Jacobus Besson, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. This is getting exciting. Jandre Bucas is looking for any gap that might open up the position.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Jandre Bucas to make up that gap, especially with Robert Engelbrecht defending so well.
It looks like Warren Dodd is in control. They're ahead of Johnny Geldenhuys by over a second, and it doesn't look like they're going to be challenged anytime soon.
Surely they've got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
Jacobus Besson wants to close that gap with Jamie Nichols. It's a thrilling pursuit as Willy Van Wyck is right behind Peter Geldenhuys, keeping the pressure on for 19th place. A great moment for Willy Van Wyck, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
You can't argue with results like that. Willy Van Wyck is really making their mark on this race.
You know, John, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, Lucy,
Hold on a moment. I don't think that's the fastest way around East London Grand Prix circuit. They're giving it everything they've got. It's a battle of nerves as they push the limits of adhesion, going wheel to wheel in a thrilling display of racing prowess. A setback for Ivan Lerm, who has just been passed.
that's got to be frustrating. But Ivan Lerm is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to battle their way back up the field.
Things are heating up as Henko van den Berg closes in on Ernest Heather. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect, but let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned games.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Ernest Heather is closing in on Henko van den Berg. The delta between Warren Dodd in 11th and Wayne Midden remains over a second, but Warren Dodd is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 23 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Warren Dodd tries to reel in Wayne Mitten. But Wayne Mitten is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Warren Dodd needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Wayne Mitten and move up the field.
We got a close battle as Johnny Geldenhuys closes in on De Van Heyman.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Johnny Geldenhuys gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Oh, this is getting intense. Enzo van den Heever is just a few car lengths behind Willy Van Wyck. This is what it's all about, folks. Renzo Scott is in hot pursuit of Ivan Lerm, who's just trying to stay ahead. Fantastic move from Renzo Scott, who has just gained a position. You know, John, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Lucy. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Warren Dodd in 11th chases after Wayne Midden.
The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Warren Dodd needs to find a way to close the gap. This is a thrilling battle as Joni Geldenhuys edges closer to De Van Heyman in their fight for P12.
We'll have to wait to see if Johnny Geldenhuys can use the draft to their advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder their progress.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Richard Reshka, who is currently in P5. But Blake Hurley is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Richard Reshka. Joni Geldenhuys could be looking for a way up the inside of De Van Heyman. Look at that, Jamie Nichols is hot on the tail of Justin Sletcher.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Jamie Nichols close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Richard Reshka is chasing Blake Hurley in P4.
This is where every inch counts. Richard Reshke is pushing hard to close the gap on Blake Hurley. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The tension is building as Henko van den Berg trails behind Ernest Heather. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Ernest Heather is pushing to maintain the lead, while Henko van den Berg is working to close in and challenge for the position. John Visser is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
The race is really heating up. Joni Geldenhuys is hunting down De Van Heyman with everything they've got. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Justin Sletcher is breathing down the neck of Jamie Nichols, not giving them any room to relax.
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like Justin Sletcher is taking that advice to heart today.
It's a battle out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
If Richard Reshke gets any closer to Bradley Taylor, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
Blake Hurley is giving it their all as they chase down Richard Reshka in P4.
With just 0.3 seconds between them, Blake Hurley will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
Things are heating up as John Visser tries to close the gap to Henko van den Berg. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Wayne Mitten needs to stay patient and wait for Warren Dodd to make a mistake.
Breaking update. Ernest Heather has pulled into the pits. Wayne Mitten seems to be putting the pressure on Warren Dodd. Hold on to your hats, folks. Blake Hurley is right on the heels of Richard Reshka, and we're in for a wild ride.
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Blake Hurley is definitely living on the edge today.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Wayne Mitten will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. A commanding performance from Enzo van den Heever, who has increased their lead over Jandre Bucas, putting them firmly in their rear-view mirrors. As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely, they're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even great...
Hold on a moment. It looks like Johnny Geldenhuys has been called into the pits. It's an intense battle for position as Caden Scott tries to outmaneuver John Visser. This is edge-of-your-seat racing.
These two are putting on a masterclass in precision driving. Every turn, every acceleration, calculated to perfection.
Hold on a moment. Philip van Staden has decided to pit. The gap between Blake Hurley and Richard Reschke is razor thin as they vie for third in this nail-biting contest.
Should things go south between Blake Hurley and Richard Reschke, we might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
The pursuit is on. Johnny Geldenhuys is closing the gap on Kenneth Ella, determined to claim P18. This is what racing is all about, folks. Three fearless drivers pushing their machines to the absolute limit, inches apart.
You're absolutely right, Lucy. The level of respect these drivers have for each other while pushing their limits is commendable. It's a testament to their professionalism and love for the sport.
Oh, the pressure is intense. These three drivers are displaying incredible skill and determination. It's like a high-speed chess match out there. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Robert Engelbrecht trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Wayne Midden. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
It's going to be tough for Robert Engelbrecht, as Wayne Midden seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Robert Engelbrecht pull off some impressive...
Breaking alert. Jandre Bucas is in the pits. Blake Hurley is on a mission, chasing Richard Reschke, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Blake Hurley is really walking that fine line.
Looks like De Van Heyman is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control.
Richard Reschke has pulled into the pits. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. A brilliant maneuver from De Van Heyman, who has just moved up the field. What a move! Braking alert. Jandre Bucas is in the pits. This is wheel-to-wheel racing at its finest. The drivers are practically glued together as they fight for every inch of track. It's a battle you don't want to miss.
Absolutely, Lucy. The slipstream plays a crucial role in these battles. The drivers are using every trick in the book to gain an advantage while constantly evaluating when to make their move.
The intensity is off the charts as Warren Dodd hounds De Van Heyman, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
It's a battle of nerves now. Warren Dodd and De Van Heyman are both pushing hard, but need to avoid mistakes that might cost them time or positions.
The race is heating up as De Van Heyman in 6th closes in on Warren Dodd. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
This is where experience comes into play. Warren Dodd has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but De Van Heyman is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
Big gains for De Van Heyman as they move up the field, leaving Warren Dodd behind. Oh, this is getting intense. Willie Van Wyck is just a few car lengths behind Ivan Lerm. It looks like Peter Geldenhuys has been called into the pits. It looks like Willie Van Wyck is pushing hard to catch up to Ivan Lerm. That's not a small gap, but Willie Van Wyck has what it takes to challenge for the position. This is where the race gets really interesting. Kenneth Ella is closing in on. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Kenneth Ella is pitting. It's a game of inches now as Willie Van Wyck tails Ivan Lerm closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. Great driving from Willie Van Wyck, who has just gained a place and moved up to 24th. The pressure is on for Ivan Lerm as they try to catch up to Willie Van Wyck. Well, stop the press. Jamie Nichols has decided to pit. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Joni Geldenhuys in 16th chases after Ernest Heather. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Joni Geldenhuys needs to find a way to close the gap.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Joni Geldenhuys in 16th determined to catch up. But we know Ernest Heather isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Joni Geldenhuys is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Oh, this is getting intense. Bradley Taylor is just behind Jamie Nichols. A great moment for Bradley Taylor, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Yes, Bradley Taylor is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
John, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Lucy. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
The delta between Jamie Nichols in 11th and Bradley Taylor remains over a second, but Jamie Nichols is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 8 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
Absolutely, Jamie Nichols in 11th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Joni Geldenhuys trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Ernest Heather. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. The tension is building as Jamie Nichols trails behind Bradley Taylor. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Bradley Taylor is pushing to maintain the lead, while Jamie Nichols is working to close in and challenge for the position.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Jamie Nichols tries to reel in Bradley Taylor. But Bradley Taylor is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Jamie Nichols needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Bradley Taylor and move up the field.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Joni Geldenhuys is chasing Ernest Heather in P15. Every move counts now as Robert Engelbrecht works to reel in Peter Geldenhuys and overtake for P13.
The gap between them is now just over 0.4 seconds.
In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown. Superb driving from Johnny Geldenhuys, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Richard Reschke, who is currently in P9. But Danny Van Ruyen is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Richard Reschke. Wait, J.P. Brand is in the pits. Johnny Geldenhuys is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about
Braking alert. It looks like John Visser has been called into the pits. This is a thrilling battle as Johnny Geldenhuys edges closer to Ernest Heather in their fight for P14. A brilliant maneuver from Johnny Geldenhuys, who has just moved up the field. It's all about consistency for John Visser, who is currently 7th.
That's right, they can't afford to make any mistakes or let up in their performance. Every point counts in this championship.
No room for error here. Jamie Nichols is breathing down the neck of Warren Dodd, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
Warren Dodd wants to get into Jamie Nichols' slipstream. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while. Things are heating up as Robert Engelbrecht tries to close the gap to Jandre Bucas.
I would not be surprised if they get this pass completed soon.
Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would help to cement this driver's legendary status.
This is what makes motor racing so exciting. The tension is high and the stakes are even higher. I would not bet on either racer at this point, as it's too close to call.
Hold that thought. Hold the phone. De Van Heyman has pulled into the pits. It's a nail-biting showdown between these three drivers. They're nose to tail, pushing their limits in every corner.
Exactly, Lucy. It's like a high-stakes chess match on wheels. These drivers are analyzing every move and trying to anticipate their opponent's next move. It's a true test of their mental acuity.
Wow, Jamie Nichols is really pushing hard to catch up to John Visser. There's blood in the water for 7th place. The action is non-stop as Warren Dodd shadows De Van Heyman through every twist and turn, determined to claim 9th. Johnny Geldenhuys wants to find a way round Ernest Heather. The crowd is on their feet, roaring with excitement. It's an all-out war between these three drivers. I can only hope the netcode keeps up with their fearlessness. The race is heating up as Johnny Geldenhuys in 15th closes in on Ernest Heather. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Jamie Nichols is giving it their all as they chase down Bradley Taylor in P7. Jamie Nichols is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.57 seconds down. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Robert Engelbrecht trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jandre Bucas. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
It's going to be tough for Robert Engelbrecht, as Jandre Bucas seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Robert Engelbrecht pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Seems like Robert Engelbrecht is getting in range of Jandre Bucas. They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as it gets, folks. I would not be surprised if these drivers swap positions a few times before the order gets ultimately decided. They're going for the same piece of tarmac. Sparks are flying as they battle for position, daring each other to brake later and go deeper into the corners.
No doubt about it, Lucy. The battle for supremacy between these drivers is fierce. The way they navigate through those tight corners is a testament to their skill and determination.
As we come into the final moments of this epic race, JP Brand is in the lead. Can they stay calm and bring home the bacon? What a win! This is a historic moment for JP Brand, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision! Caden Scott claimed 28th. Impressive second-place finish for Blake Hurley.
Intense race, but Blake Hurley held their nerve and earned a great second place.
That was an outstanding performance from Danny Van Ruyen. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium.
Great job bringing it home.
Followed by Richard Reshka, Henko van den Berg, Bradley Taylor, and Jamie Nichols in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. John Visser, Devan Heyman, Warren Dodd, and Justin Sletcher in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Taking 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th is Wayne Midden, Peter Geldenhuys, Ernest Heather, and Joni Geldenhuys. With Philip Van Staden, Enzo van den Heever, Ivan Lerm, and Renzo Scott in 16th, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Finishing 17th, 18th, 19th, and 25th is Francois van den Heever, Kenneth Ella, Jandre Bucas, and Robert Stoltz. Coming in 20th, 21st, 26th, and 29th we have Robert Engelbrecht, Dan Van, Willie Van Wyck, and Tyler Scott.